nominee.
I just brought a couple of folders in. I'm overwhelmed. Anyway, thank you, Chair Green, Vice Chair Chang. Chair Takuda is not here. So Senator Wakai, Senator Harimoto, for this opportunity to testify in support of my nomination for the Director of Hawaii Department of Human Services. I'm truly overwhelmed by this outpouring of aloha, love, and support for me. I'm very thankful to Governor Ige for nominating me as the Director of Human Services. It is a great honor and privilege to serve our great state and lead the department and work with almost 2,300 plus colleagues on a daily basis to make a difference in the lives of 1 in 4 residents and almost half the children of Hawaii. Chair, my comments today will focus on my background, what brings me here, my career at DHS, and DHS's short and long-term vision moving forward. I was born into a middle-class Indian family to Joginder Lal and Shashi Bhanot. My father was a lawyer, and mother a musician with master's degree in vocal and instrumental music. I also come from a long line of lawyers on my mother's side and educators on my father's side. Both my parents stressed the importance of education and doing good in life. I was in awe of my father and maternal grandfather's standing in the community in which they lived and practiced law. I wanted to be a lawyer just like them. My dream of becoming a lawyer and practicing law faded in an instant after a brief but eventful 14th birthday dinner conversation with my maternal grandmother, Shakuntala. During the dinner, Grandma suggested that I should pick a career where I could make a difference in the lives of those who are struggling in life and having a hard time making ends meet. I was very confused because I thought lawyers make a difference in any situation in anybody's life, and asked her as to what would she recommend as a career. She smiled and responded, put her arm around me and said, public service. And I would also be able to use my legal training to shape public policy and help a lot of disadvantaged people. I promised my grandma that I will pursue law and public service on completion of my education. The next phase of my life between 1980 to 95 really defined me as a person and a professional. It tested my character, integrity, and discipline, and took a lot of love, care, and support of my grandma and mom, hard work, and a relentless pursuit of excellence to have a career and success I enjoy today. After completing 10th grade education in a northern town of Jalandhar, my hometown, we were compelled to move to Delhi in 1980 due to my father's ill health and personal issues. He was unable to work. We suddenly were on the verge of becoming homeless, but with the help of our extended family, we were able to survive. My father's health began to improve after a few years, and he started to work again on a part-time basis, but now we were no more than a hand-to-mouth, low-income family living with the father and husband who began to abuse alcohol and resorted to domestic violence that arose out of his alcohol abuse, low self-esteem, frustration, anger, and shock that he was unable to fully recover from his illness and regain his professional stature. This adverse experience of living through poverty and domestic violence and watching a perfectly good, intelligent family man succumb to alcohol abuse made me resolute to dedicate my life to human rights, including advocacy against domestic violence, child abuse, and alleviation of poverty. I also realized very early on that education is the only way out of poverty and a key to success at a personal and professional level. I went on to graduate from a public high school with a distinction, received a BA honors degree in political science, and a law degree with a distinction from the University of Delhi. In 1990, I was admitted and awarded full graduate fellowship to Cornell University School of Law to pursue LLM. This decision to leave India was based on a number of factors: pursuit of excellence, gain international experience to further my career in public international law and human rights, and build a career to support my family. I graduated in 91 with an LLM degree and honors in international human rights. I was a visiting researcher at the Bolt Hall School of Law, University of California at Berkeley in 1991, and Research Associate at the Elliott School of International Affairs at the George Washington University, Washington, D.C. in 92 and 93. These research projects were related to international human rights, law, and policy. From 1993 to 97, I pursued postgraduate research in public international law at the School of Law, University of Nottingham in England. The focus of my work was on the rights of migrant workers and their families in international law. I was awarded the University of Nottingham Law School and European Union Fellowship to pursue studies in public international law, and the Mildred Toll Fellowship through Hawaii Community Foundation to study and promote international harmony and interracial understanding. I was also invited to be a visiting researcher at the Center for Migration Studies on Staten Island, New York in 94 and 95. Unfortunately, I was unable to complete my PhD due to family and serious health issues. In 95, while I was pursuing my studies in England, my father passed away at the age of 60 of brain cancer. A couple of years before his death, my father was able to overcome his anger, gave up alcohol, and reconciled with his family. Now the responsibility of ensuring my family's future and overall well-being became the singular focus. I assisted my mother in raising my sister and supporting two brothers until they became self-sufficient. My professional career in human and social services began in August of 1998 when I joined the Kauai Economic Opportunity on the island of Kauai as their family development director. I focused on the programs and services for immigrants, refugees, poor and low-income families. In September 1999, I fulfilled my promise to my maternal grandmother that I will pursue law and dedicate my career to human rights and public service. I joined DHS as an emergency hire program specialist with the Employment and Childcare Program Office of the Benefit, Employment and Support Services Division we lovingly call BESD. And yes, Susan, you hired me as an emergency hire. You made the right call. I became permanent civil servant in July 2000. In July 2002, I was promoted to the Employment and Childcare Program Administrator position. In 2006, I was awarded the Employee of the Year by DHS and also recognized by the Governor for my public service and contribution to improving the lives of families on public assistance. In April 2007, I became the BESD Administrator. In 2013, I was awarded the Manager of the Year Award for DHS and Governor's State Manager of the Year Award for my contribution to improving the government function and the well-being of and making a difference in the lives of Hawaii's disadvantaged populations. My success was made possible by the hardworking and dedicated colleagues across BESD. I will forever be thankful for the support of Cheryl Takano, she's here today, and Scott Nakasone and Julie Morita. I served as the Deputy Director of the Department from December 2010 to January 2012, and again in January 2015 and August 2016. In September 2016, Governor Ige appointed me as the Director of the Hawaii Department of Human Services. The Department of Human Services is responsible for programs, benefits, and services for the poor, low-income, disabled populations, including programs including financial assistance, food, employment programs, utility payments, child care, regulation of child care facilities, medical assistance, vocational rehabilitation programs, child welfare services, adult protective and community services, services for the homeless, public housing, services for at-risk youth, promoting equality for women and girls, and promoting the role of fathers in their children's lives. I have the pleasure and privilege of working with a very talented and committed colleagues across our department. The commitment of our employees to make a difference cannot be questioned. Our employees are the most important asset or resource we have. Our vision at the Department of Human Services is to ensure that people of Hawaii are thriving. Our mission is to encourage self-sufficiency and support the well-being of individuals, families, and communities in Hawaii. We are driven by 6 core values. We are team-oriented. We acknowledge that internal and external partnerships are critical to the success of DHS. We are human-centered. We develop strategies and make improvements as necessary from the client's perspective. We are respectful. We recognize the inherent value of each person as well as the diverse cultures of Hawaii. We are intentional. We are mindful of our decisions and actions in our collective work. We are visionaries. We strive to support our clients by co-creating generative, forward-looking strategies. We are evidence-based. We make decisions that are based on data and take actions that we know will have sustainable outcomes. Our strategic goals address the various social determinants of health and well-being, which include employment, education, healthcare, safety, housing, and food security, all of which contribute to an individual's self-sufficiency, social capital, and well-being. I want to emphasize to everyone that prevention of child abuse and neglect, adult abuse, neglect and exploitation, domestic violence, sex and human trafficking is our priority, and such violation of human rights is not acceptable. We will continue to invest in children between 0 to 5, invest in health and well-being of our communities, and create a culture of health in Hawaii. Promote equal rights for women and girls, particularly focus on paid family leave, promote the role of fathers in raising their children, address homelessness, and increase housing stability. Our goals and commitment to improve the well-being of Hawaii's children, families, and communities are the same as articulated by our Governor, Senate, and House leadership. Our work is guided by the Aloha Spirit, as Mike mentioned, in Section 5-7.5 of Hawaii Revised Statutes. Aloha is more than a word of greeting or farewell or a salutation. Aloha means mutual regard and affection and extends warmth and caring with no obligation in return. Aloha is the essence of relationships in which each person is important to every other person for collective existence. Furthermore, Article 9, Section 3 of our state constitution provides that the state shall have the power to provide financial assistance, medical assistance, and social services for persons who are found to be in need of and are eligible for such assistance and services as provided by law. Over the last couple of years, the field of human services is living through an era of disruption. In our human services environment, major changes in demographics, policy, and technology are driving a surge of new service demands and upending outdated human services delivery models. While disruption is bringing formidable challenges for human services organizations, it is also creating an unprecedented opportunity to deliver improved individual, family, and community outcomes. When disruption has become the new normal, we must think very differently and position ourselves to be in the most ideal position to serve the ever-changing and dynamic clientele. Business as usual or admiring the status quo is not acceptable. We must be very strategic, innovative, creative, and intentional in all our efforts if we want to make a difference in the lives of residents who knock on our door on a daily basis, seeking assistance to get themselves out of the cycle of intergenerational poverty and despair. We began 2016 with the introduction of Ohana Nui, a multi-generational framework that invests in early and concurrently in children and families. Ohana Nui framework was developed by my good friend and our former director, Rachel S. Wong. Thank you, Rachel. In collaboration with the Aspen Institute and Dr. Ginny Pressler and her team at the Department of Health. Thank you, Rachel and Ginny, for your vision and leadership. Presently, we continue to work diligently to embed Ohana Nui deep into the department's policies and operations to help Hawaii residents achieve health, education, employment, and other outcomes. This approach allows us to more efficiently align programs and funding to make a greater impact on the whole person and the whole family. In support of this new framework, we look forward to emphasizing 3 other department priorities during the current fiscal year and the next biennium. Craft a first comprehensive strategic plan for the Department of Human Services, re-engineer DHS business processes, and develop the DHS enterprise system. These priorities support the development of Ohana Nui by enabling us to serve residents across programs and divisions with an integrated eligibility and case management applications and a vision for the future that connects residents quickly to all the resources we offer. We cannot accomplish these goals and objectives without the support and collaboration of my DHS colleagues, executive branch partners, community partners, and our legislature. I urge my colleagues across the department to support our Ohana Nui effort, participate in the strategic planning, business process reengineering, and DHS enterprise system efforts. It is our opportunity to create a health and human services ecosystem that is responsive to the needs of our families, children, and communities, and allows us to meet families where they are. We also must remember that we are the trustees of public funds and public's trust. We must find ways to leverage resources and work efficiently and collaboratively to make a difference. I urge my colleagues across the executive to bust the silos and work collaboratively to integrate funding, service delivery, and achieve positive outcomes for families. Let's make a difference through our collective will and work. I urge my nonprofit community partners to collaborate with us to redesign the health and human services delivery system by focusing on our strengths to address social determinants of well-being across our communities. Government resources are getting scarce, and it would not be possible to fund many programs and services at the level we were able to fund in the past. We must streamline and find new and efficient ways to deliver services, and I request you to support and use Ohananui framework to redesign and deliver services to make a difference. I invite our non-traditional partners, such as for-profit businesses, philanthropy, and banks, to join our effort to streamline the health and human services delivery models. You all have the resources to fill the gap government is unable to address. We also want to learn from your creativity, innovation, and success in business and apply the same principles to make government more efficient and responsive to the needs of our community. Let's partner to make a difference. Lastly, I urge our legislature to work with us collaboratively to craft a budget that is affordable and enact effective policies to make a difference in the lives of residents of Hawaii. We know our economy is not growing at the rate we expected, and all our requests can't be funded. We are standing by to work with you collaboratively to make a difference. Being appointed as the Director of Human Services is the culmination of a 14-year-old's dream and promise to his grandmother to pursue law and career in public service to make a difference in the lives of disadvantaged and poor. Nothing would have been possible without the love, support, care, and encouragement provided by my family and friends. Listening to and learning from elders, pursuit of education and excellence, self-belief, commitment to making a difference, courage to challenge the status quo and bring about change, and not ever quitting. I would like to acknowledge the presence of my lovely wife, but she's at a doctor's appointment. I don't know if she has gotten here or not, but I hope that she will be here timely, but I guess the doctor's appointment was way more important than this. Because she can't get it changed. She's my best friend as well. And there are many friends and colleagues in this room, those who and there are those who submitted testimony online. I would particularly like to call out Deputy Director Bridget Holtis and my Secretary Catherine Korinaga, and many of my cabinet colleagues, community partners, and particularly my Musubi Golf Club guys who are here, so they know who they are. Our son Satya is unable to attend as he's attending college in California. My personal and professional success is made possible due to Lynn and Satya's unconditional love and support. To my late grandmother, thank you for your love, wisdom, and guidance, and guiding me to this career. To my mom in India, who can't be here as well, thank you for bringing me to this world and loving me unconditionally. Thank you for the opportunity to testify and considering me for the Director of Department of Human Services.